I'm joined by the Royal Author and Historian Kate Williams. Good evening to you. Thank you very much for coming in. We're going to start off with the front page of The Observer and that report that Osborne's plan isn't working. That's according to top UK economists.
Absolutely. Well, next to the picture, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, nearly everyone's got them on the front. Here in The Observer, Osborne's plan isn't working. The cuts are, the cuts that he outlined a year ago, they're just too severe considering what's happened to the economy since. There have been slumps, the lack of consumer confidence, the way in which the economy's really been going downhill since then. This is the idea that they're just too harsh, really. It's, the disappointing growth, this is what the quite harsh things, economic policy in disarray. They're really, putting the boot in here. It's a very risky situation, other people are saying. So quite a lot of, quite high-profile economists really saying that Osborne has to think again. Yeah,
they're saying that he needs to come up with a plan B.
Yeah, a plan B, absolutely. A plan B, because plan A is just too tough, really. Since the Chancellor laid out his plans to balance the books by the end of Parliament and his budget, outlook has deteriorated, growth has gone flat. So we need plan B, although what plan B is, I think, is left to be debated.
But there's a quote here from, I think it's Tim Besley, the former Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee member, who says that disappointing growth has almost nothing to do with the fiscal plans of the government. I'm coming to the view that it's just a long, slow, hard slog.
And, as he's saying, I'd like to see a much more defined growth strategy. And I guess his principle is that we've got to have some leadership from central government to grow the economy. We can't just rely on the consumer and the businessman.
Let's move on to the Sunday Telegraph. Quite a worrying story there. Shops warned over terrorist threat to food. We mentioned it in our run-through of the papers. Food and drink sold in Britain is under a growing threat from terrorist groups, which might try to poison supplies. That's according to the government security advisers.
Well, it's fascinating. The government security advisers are saying we have to realise how vulnerable our food chain is. And the E. coli outbreak in Germany, which is obviously having this huge ramification, that has highlighted how vulnerable we are and how quickly bacteria can spread. And there's even a doctor quoted here who says, Dr. Klaus-Dieter Zastrow has said, it's quite possible this probably wasn't malicious, but it could have been. He said there's a crazy person out there who thinks I'll kill a few people or give 10,000 people diarrhea. So he's saying, we are very vulnerable. They think that the E. coli outbreak came from a farm, that there was a weakness in a farm, and that's what could happen again. There's all kinds of things that could happen on farms. The workers could poison food. This is the worry that our food chain is so vulnerable. Increasingly, we're depending on the same people to feed us and very open to exploitation.
Now, moving on to a creation of a new Oxbridge. That's in the Sunday Times. What's that story about?
Well, yes, this is the story here at a new Oxbridge, a place to rival Oxbridge. The philosopher A.C. Grayling, he's secured apparently multi-million-pound funding from private investors to create an institution modelled on the American liberal elite arts college. It'll be a private university in Bloomsbury, starting in 2012 with 14 professors, quite small. They're looking at 300 students initially, so very small. But the principle is this is going to be a private university, and as such it will be excluded from the £9,000 cap. They can charge much more because it is a private university, and they're going to teach English, history, philosophy, economics and law. So much more choice coming along.
We shall see how that pans out. Kate, for the moment, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kate will be back again for a full press preview at 11:30. Also joining us will be the Conservative MP for Brentford and Isleworth, Mary McLeod. Coming up next, it's Sportsline, including Sri Lanka make England sweat in the sun in the second test at Lord's. And why it's been a mixed day for Gavin Henson on his Wales return.
Walking in the rain.
The new Peugeot 308, available now.
Don't miss this. The show-stopping dress, the vital lap, the biggest hit. To say thank you, we're giving all our customers the chance to get access to some of Britain's best events, like Formula One, fashion and festivals. Vodafone. Power to you.